Jessica is my name. My age is 24. I work in a restaurant as a waitress. My life is really difficult. Every day I need money. My mom is ill. She requires a major surgery. It costs $50,000, according to the doctor. This money is not mine. Despite working long hours, I am unable to save enough money. I'm terrified. I go to work every day. I give clients a grin. I provide them with food and beverages. My employer yells at me occasionally. I'm too slow, he says. I make mistakes, he admits. I don't weep. I simply apologize and put forth more effort. An elderly man frequently visits the eatery. George is his name. He is 80 years old. He is extremely wealthy. He is said to be the owner of numerous structures. He is said to be cruel and icy. However, he has keen eyes. He is able to see everything. George sits by himself all the time. He places a modest meal order. He observes me at work. He witnesses my supervisor yelling at me. I have no idea why he stares at me so intently. I get a call one day. The hospital is the location. My mom is in urgent need of surgery. Without it, she will perish. This week, I need the money. I take a seat and start crying. I have no idea what to do. George approaches my table. He takes a seat beside me. What's wrong? He asks. I tell him about my mom. I share the money with him. He doesn't talk. He just listens. Then he makes an odd statement. He says he wants to wed me. I give him a look. I believe he is making a joke. However, he has a serious expression. He tells me about his offer. He will cover my mother's entire expenses. He will provide me with a fulfilling life. I'll have a large home and excellent clothes. However, I have to wed him for 5 years. I have to look after him. I have to live with him. His kids want to put him in a nursing facility. That is not what he wants. To stop them, he needs a young wife. His words are unbelievable. He is 80 years old. My age is 24. He might be my grandfather. People will make fun of us. I'll be the target of negative remarks. However, if the surgery is not performed, my mother will pass away. There's nothing else I can do. I urgently need this money. I give George a look. My eyes well up with tears. Yes, I say. I consent to his marriage. I feel like I'm trying to sell myself. I am giving a very old man my youthful life, but I have to keep my mom alive. There is no other option. George gives a nod. He gives me a handshake. The transaction has finalized. In an instant, my existence is transformed. I'm going to marry a billionaire. However, I'm not joyful. I'm scared. 3 days later, the wedding takes place. We visit the city hall. No flowers are present. No music is playing. It's a little gloomy room. The desk woman gives us a look. She appears perplexed. Is George my grandfather? She inquires. No, I say. He's my husband, I say. She looks directly at me. She then hands us the documents to sign. My name is signed. My hand trembles. George also signs his name. His hand is slow and quite elderly. We are now wed. No one applauds. No one is grinning. We simply walk away. People spot us in the hallway. They gesture at us. They chuckle. I hear them conversing. We look like a joke, they say. I want to flee. However, George and I stroll side by side. I currently live like this. I go to George's residence. It is enormous. It resembles a palace. There are many of rooms. Everything is exquisite and costly. However, the house is chilly. It seems hollow. My bedroom is shown to me by a woman. It is enormous. It's a soft bed. However, I sleep by myself. George has a separate bedroom. Despite being married, we don't really know each other. I now wear excellent clothes. I own jewelry. I've got all I require. However, I'm depressed. This mansion resembles a gold prison. We visit a restaurant a week later. We had never been together in public before. People watch us enter. They cease conversing. They gaze at us. They whisper, and I hear it. They make cruel remarks. I resemble his granddaughter. A woman remarks, "I'm waiting for George to pass away," says another man. "I just want his money," he claims. My face starts to heat up. I'm really embarrassed. George also hears them. He grabs hold of my hand. He has an aged hand that trembles. However, he grips my hand firmly. He wants to be seen. He wants them to be aware that I am his spouse. We take a seat and start eating. However, I am unable to appreciate the meal. Everyone is observing us. Everyone is critical of us. I'm wealthy now. My home is large. I have lovely things, but I'm no longer respected. People believe that I am a bad person. They believe that I sold myself for cash. And perhaps they are correct. Perhaps I did. I give George a look. He consumes food slowly. He doesn't give a damn what people think. However, I am concerned. I misplaced something significant. My dignity was lost. I also can't get it back. George's kids pay him a visit 2 weeks later. Richard and Victoria are their names. Richard is 55 years old. Victoria is 52 years old. They are both considerably older than I am. They show up in the afternoon. They don't give me a smile. They don't greet you. Their eyes are icy as they gaze at me. I'm really uncomfortable. We have dinner together. It's a lengthy table. George is seated next to me. Victoria and Richard are seated across from us. No one speaks. There is a deep quiet. Victoria then says something. George is asked by her why he married me. "I'm too young," she says. "I don't love him," she claims. Anger is evident in her voice. Richard also speaks. He speaks poorly of me. He calls me a derogatory term. "I only want George's money," he says. "I'll take everything when George dies," he declares. My eyes start to well up with tears. I'd like to go. However, I remain seated. I remain silent. Victoria speaks once again. "They'll end this marriage," she says. "They'll hire a lawyer," she says. "They will make the marriage unlawful," she claims. "I won't get anything," she says. "They talk about me as if I didn't exist. They speak of me as if I were a thing. I feel so little." I give George a look. I wait for him to speak. He remains still. He has a crimson face. His hands tremble. George then strikes the table forcefully. It's a really loud sound. Everyone stops speaking. The glasses tremble. I leap into my chair. George gets to his feet. He is frail and elderly. However, he now appears powerful. He gestures toward his kids. He speaks clearly and loudly. "I am his wife," he claims. "They have to respect me," he says. If they can't be polite, he tells them to go. His words are straightforward but impactful. Victoria and Richard appear stunned. They gaze at their dad. They remain still. George restates it. He orders them to go. He declares that he is not interested in seeing them. Not right now. Not until they give me an apology. Victoria breaks down in tears. Richard becomes enraged. However, they both get to their feet. They make their way to the door. They depart from the residence. The door slams. George takes a seat once more. He now appears to be really exhausted. More than before, his hands tremble. He takes deep breaths. I give him a look. I notice something fresh. He is more than just my supervisor. He is more than just an elderly, wealthy man. He feels isolated. Even his own kids despise him. All they want is his money. He is not loved by them. I feel sad for George for the first time. He stood up for me. No one had ever stood up for me before. He is ill and elderly. However, he shielded me from his own relatives. Perhaps he is not as aloof as others claim. Perhaps he really does have a heart. I can't sleep one night. I'm lying in bed. It's silent in the house. I hear music after that. It's piano music. It sounds really depressing. I stand up. I stroll up the corridor. The living room is where the music originates. Slowly, I open the door. George is here. He is seated at a large black piano. He touches the keys with his fingertips. Although lovely, the soundtrack is depressing. His face is bathed in light. He appears quite elderly. He appears quite worn out. He appears to be in danger of breaking. I watch him from where I stand. I'm not visible to him. He merely plays. His face is streaming with tears. The music ends. George remains motionless. I enter the space. He raises his gaze. He notices me. I inquire if he would like some tea. He gives a nod. I head to the kitchen. I brew hot tea. I return it to him. George sips the tea. I'm grateful to him. Then he begins to speak. He describes his first wife to me. Ro was her name. 40 years ago, she passed away. He was deeply in love with her. He claims that his work kept him busy all the time. He was at work all day and all night. His goal was to earn money. He desired wealth. However, he neglected his family. He didn't hang out with Ro. He didn't engage in play with his kids. He was absent from their upbringing. Ro became ill. She passed away by herself. He was working. He worked more harder when she passed away. He didn't show his kids love, but he did give them money. These days, their primary concern is money. He is unimportant to them. It's his fault. This is how he manufactured them. George sobs once again. He apologizes. He claims that his life was a waste. He claims that love cannot be purchased with money. My heart hurts. I take a seat beside him. I take his old hand in mine. I assure him it's all right. I let him know that I get it. Everything changes after that night. I begin to feel something for George, not as a result of our agreement, not for financial reasons. He is a person, which is why I care. He feels isolated. He is depressed. Someone is needed by him. Every day, I make him soup. His teeth are weak, thus the soup is soft. To him, I read novels. His eyes are quickly fatigued. We discuss life. We discuss dreams. We discuss optimism and grief. The age gap is no longer significant. There are only two of us, two lonely people. We are able to communicate with one another, and gradually, a bond develops between us. Something genuine, something real. 3 months go by. George and I are content. We have daily conversations. Together, we laugh. I look after him. He looks after me. Then a horrible incident occurs one morning. I deliver George's morning meal. He is seated in his chair. I place the meal on the table. George makes an odd noise all of a sudden. His face is not right. One side falls. He lets go of his cup. He attempts to say something, but nothing comes out. I yell. I make an assistance call. I give the hospital a call. The ambulance arrives quickly. George was placed on a bed. They remove him. I accompany him. Doctors are everywhere at the hospital. George is led inside a room by them. I'm told to wait outside. I take a seat in the hallway. I offer prayers. I cry. Hours go by. A physician emerges. George had a stroke, he claims. A terrible stroke. George is in a coma, but he is still alive. He is unable to awaken. The physician is unsure of his chances of survival. I remain in the hospital. I stay put. I take a seat next George's bed. I take his hand. I converse with him. I urge him to awaken. He doesn't move, though. Richard arrives on the second day. He enters the space. He glances at his dad. He doesn't appear depressed. He appears irate. Richard orders me to go. I don't belong here, he says. I claim to be George's spouse. I'll remain, I say. Richard chuckles. George is dying, he claims. I'm worthless now, he says. Richard makes a security call. There are two large dudes. I'm forced to leave the hospital. I shout and weep. However, they eject me. I return home. I want to retrieve my belongings. However, the locks are not the same. I am unable to open the door. I keep knocking. No one responds. Then I notice what I'm wearing. The yard is where they are. They were thrown out the window by someone. My gowns are in the ground. My shoes are damaged. Everything has been destroyed. Richard lets the door open. He gives me a smile. The elderly man is dying, he claims. I no longer live here, he says. I get nothing, he says. He then shuts the door. In the yard, I stand. I have no idea what to do. I'm homeless. I don't have any money. However, these things don't concern me. George is all that matters to me. I must know if he's all right. I must be close to him. I climb into my vintage vehicle. I return to the hospital by car. I park outside. I am unable to enter. However, I may remain near. That night, I slept in my car, and the following evening, and the following evening. 3 days go by. I don't eat anything. I simply wait. All I do is hope. I hope George awakens. A nurse discovers me on the 4th day. George woke up, she claims. I dash into the medical facility. I dash to his room, but I'm stopped at the door by security. I can't enter, they say. Doctors and attorneys are inside with Richard. They're meeting. I shove past the guards. I let the door open. Everybody turns to stare at me. I appear unclean. My hair is disheveled. My clothing is outdated. But I don't give a damn. George is here. He's awake. However, he has a different appearance. His face remains still on one side. On the bed, one arm is motionless. His words sound weird when he attempts to speak. Richard is standing by the bed. Victoria is also present. They are accompanied by 3 men in suits. They practice law. Richard notices me. He screams at me to go. I have no right to be here, he says. The attorneys stare at me. They appear repulsed. A single attorney talks. George will be transferred to a nursing facility, he said. A unique location far away. George is going to reside there. The business will be operated by Richard and Victoria. Everything has been decided. I give George a look. He glances at me with his excellent eye. He makes an effort to talk. However, no one pays attention to him. I move forward. I take a position before the attorneys. These guys are twice my age. They are strong. They are wealthy. However, I'm not afraid. I claim to be George's lawful spouse. It is stated in the law. I promise to bring him home. I'll take care of him personally. A nursing facility is not necessary for him. Richard chuckles. I can't take care of anyone, he says. I'm just a waitress, he says. I am nobody, he says. I don't pay attention to him. I give George a look. I promise to bring him home today. I promise that he will be secure in my care. This is what I swear to him. The attorneys converse. They claim I'm broke. They claim that I don't own a home. I can't do this, they say. However, I am his spouse. It is stated in the paperwork. I can't be stopped by them. George lets out a noise. Everybody is staring at him. His face is streaming with tears. His good hand is raised. He gestures at me. He tries to pronounce my name. I get it. He desires to accompany me. He has faith in me. His own kids wish to keep him hidden. They wish to put him out of their minds. All they want is his business and his money. However, I wish to keep him safe. I wish to treat him with respect. I want to show him affection. The attorneys converse with one another. They examine documents. At last, they reply, I can take him, since I am his spouse. I have the support of the law. Victoria and Richard scream. However, they are powerless. I prevailed. I'm taking George home with me. George and I go to a tiny house. The mansion is not suitable for us to live in. Richard accepted it. It's a small house. It's warm, though. We own it. I look after George every day. I get up early. I assist him in getting out of bed. His left side is immobile. His hands are me. His feet are me. I assist him in washing. I assist him in getting dressed. I give him breakfast. He can't chew well, therefore it's soft porridge. I administer his medication. I do this on a daily basis. George occasionally needs diapers. I alter them. I wash him. This is labor-intensive. However, I handle it gently. I show him respect. He remains a human being. He is worthy of respect. We work out 3 times a day. I assist George in using his feeble arm. I assist him in attempting to walk. He frequently trips and falls. I manage to catch him. We give it another go. I no longer wear lovely outfits. I dress in second-hand clothing. My hands get harsh. My face appears worn out. I now appear older. I appear 30, even though I am just 25. I don't have any personal time. I don't have any friends. Outside of this house, I have no life. I don't complain, though. I have made this decision. I assist George in going to bed one evening. He gives me a glance. He has a wet, good eye. He makes an effort to speak. He speaks slowly and haltingly. He claims he used money to purchase me. He claims that I gave my life to repay him. He apologizes. He claims to have kept me here. It's selfish, he claims. I take a seat beside him on the bed. I take his hand. I meet his eyes. I'm honest with him. He didn't keep me here, I claim. I decided to remain. I'd like to be here. I want to look after him. He sobs. I also weep. In the dark, we sit together. George is elderly. He is ill. His body isn't functioning. However, I don't think he's ugly. His body is not anything I detest. I see a lovely soul within. He spent so many years by himself. His family abandoned him. His money was sought for by all. He was not wanted by anyone. However, I desire him, not his cash, not his home, only him, the individual within this shattered body. I now adore him. True love, sincere love, love that does not demand anything in return. I am aware that he also loves me. Every day, he displays it, in his gaze, in his grin, in the manner he grasps my hand. We are content. We have one another. And that's sufficient. 6 months go by. We lead a tranquil life. Richard then launches a fresh assault. He makes up stories about me. I have a boyfriend, he says. I poisoned George slowly, he claims. I want George to die quickly, he says. He wants others to believe that I'm a bad person. Lies proliferated everywhere. People have faith in Richard. They had awful things to say about me. They claim that I am a killer. Richard appears in court. He's trying to take George away from me. I am a bad guardian, he claims. I injured George, he claims. He wants me to be stopped by the law. I receive a letter. I have to attend a family gathering. Attorneys will be present. Victoria and Richard will be present. They'll determine whether or not I can keep George. I'm terrified. George, though, is not afraid. He's got a scheme. George puts quite a lot of effort every day. He works on his speech. He finds the words difficult. However, he keeps trying. I assist him in pronouncing each word clearly. He also practices walking. He's got my arm. He moves slowly. He stumbles. He stands up. He gives it another go. I have no idea why he puts in so much effort. However, I assist him. The meeting day arrives. I go by myself. George remains at home. I believe he is too frail to attend. I enter the large room. Richard is seated at a table. Victoria takes a seat beside him. They are surrounded by 5 attorneys. They all give me a chilly stare. Richard is the first to speak. I am killing George, he declares. I want the money, he says. He displays fictitious documents. He continues to lie. I make an effort to protect myself. However, no one pays attention. I'm treated like trash by them. They say I'm foolish and young. They claim I'm a criminal. I begin to cry. I can't battle these folks by myself. They have too much power. The door then opens. Everyone looks around. George enters. He is seated in a wheelchair. A nurse shoves him. Everyone appears stunned. The nurse is told to stop by George. He places his hands on the arms of the chair. He exerts a strong push. He gets to his feet. His legs tremble. However, he is upright. Everyone is quiet. Nobody gets up. George says something. He speaks slowly, yet clearly. He promises to donate the majority of his wealth. Charity receives 80% of the proceeds. I get the remainder. Victoria and Richard receive nothing. Nothing, since they are mischievous kids. Richard leaps to his feet. He lets out a yell. Victoria sobs. The attorneys appear perplexed. George returns to his seat. He seemed worn out. However, he appears content. He stood up for me once more. The meeting concludes. Richard was defeated. I prevailed. George and I head home together. George and I sit in the living room that evening. He appears to be serious. He pulls out a drawer. He pulls out our marriage contract. 5 years ago, we signed this document. He spends a lot of time studying the paper. Then he rips it. He tears it into little fragments. The fragments land on the ground. I look at him. I don't get it. What made him act in such way? George pulls out a check. On it, he writes numerals. Enormous numbers. He hands it over to me. His hand trembles. He talks slowly. I'm free now, he says. I am only 25 years old, he says. He is 81 years old. I'm too young, he says. I should leave, he adds. I ought to locate a young man. I ought to live a true life. I shouldn't spend my youth with an elderly man who is dying. I examine the check. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of money. This money has the power to transform my life. I'm free to do anything I choose. However, money is not what I want. I don't want to be free of George. I rip the check. Just as he tore the contract, I rip it. The pieces land on the floor near to his pieces. George appears taken aback. He asks me why. I can be free, he says. I am able to be joyful. I'm honest with him. True love, in my opinion, is unique. When someone sees your soul, it's true love, not your face, not your body, your spirit. My soul is visible to George. He is aware of my true identity. I also see his soul. I'll stay with him, I say. I'll be here until the day he passes away. I have made this decision. He's my choice. George sobs. I also weep. We cling to one another. He is frail and elderly. I am robust and youthful. However, we are the same right now. We are two lonely people. We came across one another. We adore one another. Age is irrelevant. Money is irrelevant. The world is irrelevant. This is the only thing that counts. Just us. Just love. George gives me a firm hug. I cling to him. In the peaceful room, we sat together. The papers are on the ground. Ripped. The previous agreement. The check is worthless. They are no longer necessary. There is no longer a contract that binds us. Love binds us together. True love. Sincere love. The kind of love that doesn't ask for anything. The kind of love that offers everything. He owns me. I own him, indefinitely. 3 years go by. George and I reside in a modest rural home. The large mansion was sold. We don't require it. For us, this small house is ideal. George outlives what the doctors predicted. They predicted his impending death. However, he survives. He is sustained by love. He is powerful because of love. Our lives are straightforward. In the garden, we plant flowers, roses in red, sunflowers in yellow, white daisies. George gives me instructions on where to plant them. I excavate the holes. We collaborate. Now we have 2 dogs. They are elderly canines. They were not desired by anyone. We brought them home. They sleep close to George's feet. They provide him joy. I push George in his wheelchair every afternoon. We take walks. We gaze at the trees. We observe the birds. We discuss trivial matters. We are content. George is becoming weaker every day. He grins more, though. He chuckles more. These are his best years, he claims. I gave him a gift, he claims. Love is a gift. George doesn't wake up one morning. I take a seat beside him. I take his hand. His eyes open. He gives me a glance. He grinned. He makes an effort to talk. I advise him to get some rest. However, he is eager to speak. He declares his love for me. Thank you, he says. He then shuts his eyes. His breathing ceases. In my arms, he passes away, tranquil, silent. He is 84. On his desk, I discover a letter. I had it written by him. I cry for days after reading the words. Thank you for giving me a second, most brilliant life. However, my sadness does not last long. I'm appreciative. I had something unique, something uncommon, genuine affection. I'm standing at his tomb now. My age is 28. I now have a different appearance. I'm more powerful. I am more intelligent. My life altered me. I decorated the grave with flowers, roses in red, his favorite. I wasted my youth, people say. They claim that I wed an elderly man in order to get money. They don't comprehend. They will never do so. I have no regrets. I cherished George. He cherished me. We had a lovely thing, a pristine object. This cannot be purchased with money. This cannot be purchased by fame. This can only be made by 2 souls. At his tomb, I grin. I fulfilled my commitment. I remained to the very end. I showed him affection. He showed me affection. And that's sufficient. That's all. I leave the grave behind. My face is illuminated by the sun. I'm now free. But George will always hold a special place in my heart